Hello and welcome to Express News. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Let's start with our top story. The budget reflects the aspiration of the youth, who constitute two-thirds of our population, says Union Finance Minister. In a reply on the budget in the upper house, Sitharaman insisted that the budget is aimed at realizing PM Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Rebutting the opposition's claim that the union budget favours crony capitalism, Sitharaman accused the opposition, led by the Congress party, of raising a false narrative against the elected government at the centre. Sitharaman said economies have suffered all over the world due to pandemic, but our endeavour is to stimulate the economy through a budget which is based on the advices drawn from various experts and is aimed at reviving the economy. Attacking the former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram for his remark on suspect figures, Sitharaman said that 800 billion people were provided free food and 400 million were given direct cash benefits to help the poor and the needy by the Modi government during the lockdown period. She stressed that PM Garib Kalyan Yojana scheme is meant for poor people with a special package amounting to rupees 2.76 lakh crore. Finance Minister said that 9 crore people were benefited from the central scholarships, 1.69 crore farmers got registered under e-NAM and more than 3 lakh crore rupees were transacted under UPI. She added that more than 27,000 crores were disbursed under Mudra Yojana and 11 crore benefited under PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. Also attacking the Congress, Sitharaman said that Congress made a paradigm shift from hybrid socialism from the Indira Gandhi days to sudden liberalization and disinvestments in early 90s. On defence, she clarified that 18.8% capital expenditure has been increased and the hike in health sector gone up by 137%, which is phenomenal. She asserted that this includes bettering the drinking water supply through Har Ghar Jal and sanitation through Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. She alleged that 69 lakh farmers were denied the benefits of PM Kisan Samman Nidhi by West Bengal government. She said that 116 districts across the country were given special packages who bore the brunt of migrant workers. She lauded the leadership of PM Modi for leading the world in fight against coronavirus. She stressed that this budget is the backbone of the Atmanirbhar Bharat self-reliant and is a befitting reply to the contrived speech of P. Chidambaram. In Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Indian Parliament, Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur said that there has been a record increase in capital expenditure in the budget. He accused the Mamata government in West Bengal for not giving money to the farmers. Replying to a question in Lok Sabha, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar assured that the House and that any All India radio centres won't be closed in the country. He added that Prasar Bharati Recruitment Board has come into existence. Relief and rescue operations are continuing for the 6th day today in flood-hit Joshimath, Himalayan state of Uttarakhand. National Disaster Response Forces teams are working on removing debris from a tunnel in Tapovan using dumper. Supreme Court of India has issued a notice to Twitter India and Union Government and sought responses from them on a petition seeking a mechanism to check Twitter content and advertisements spreading hatred through fake news and instigative messages through bogus accounts. The PIL was filed by BJP leader Vineet Goenka. He had said there are hundreds of fake Twitter handles and bogus Facebook accounts in the name of eminent people and high dignitaries. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde said that it is issuing notice in the matter and tagging the plea with other pending matters. Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora, along with his team, reviewed the preparedness of assembly elections in Puducherry that is to be held within a couple of months. Insurance Regulatory Authority of India has advised all national insurance companies for issuance of digital insurance policies via DigiLocker. It said in order to promote the adoption of DigiLocker in the insurance sector, the authority advises all insurers to enable their IT systems to interact with DigiLocker facility. The circular also mentions that the insurers should inform their retail policyholders about DigiLocker and how to use it. Insurers are also advised to enable the process by which the policyholders can place their policies in the DigiLocker. In a far-reaching reform regarding family pensions, the upper ceiling has been raised from 45,000 rupees to 1,25,000 rupees per month. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said that the move will bring ease of living for the family members of the deceased employees. The 29th special session of the Human Rights Council on the human rights implications of the crisis in Myanmar is being held. India's permanent representative to UN and other international organizations in Geneva, Indra Mani Pandey, said that India strongly believes that rule of law must be upheld. Colombian flower growers looking to US for Valentine's Day boost. Valentine's Day is busiest time of the year for Colombian flower farmers and exporters. The flower growers are hopeful of demand from the US for much needed boost. The Nasdaq eked out a modest gain on Thursday with investors betting on more fiscal stimulus. Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 2.54 points, S&P 500 gained 8.03 points, Nasdaq Composite added 57.55 points. Germany's Commerzbank reported a $3.3 billion fourth quarter loss, sinking further into the red as it continued a major restructuring and dealt with the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to EU Economy Commissioner Paolo Gentiloni, the European Union's GDP should return to its pre-pandemic level by 2022 if the bloc's members and institutions avoid premature withdrawal of supportive policies. State-run power producer NTPC has said that the fourth 150-megawatt unit of Kameng hydroelectric project of its subsidiary Northeastern Electric Power Corporation is commercially operational. The Supreme Court today has upheld the validity of e-voting process for winding up of 6 mutual fund schemes of Franklin Templeton and said disbursal of funds to unit holders will continue. Shares of SBI Cards and Payment Services today hit a new high of Rs 1,048.65 after rising 2% intraday on the BSE, thus surpassing its previous high of Rs 1,040 recorded on January 22, 2021. Sensex ended today in green at 12.78 points higher at record 51,544.30. Nifty in its closing today slipped 10 points to 15,163.30. Gold prices edged lower in Indian markets today on MCX. Gold futures eased 0.1% to 47,474 per 10 grams. India's total active case load has seen a sharp decline, falling to 1.35 lakh today. The total positive cases of the country now comprise only 1.25% of the total cases. Less number of active cases in the last few weeks shows a consistent decline. 4 states and union territories have not reported any new cases in the last 24 hours. 18 states and union territories not reporting any new deaths in the last 24 hours. 9,309 new confirmed cases were recorded in the last 24 hours in the country. 15,858 new recoveries were registered in the same period. National recovery rate at 97.32% continues to be one of the highest globally. The continued high rise in the recoveries has led to progressively improving national recovery rate. The total recovered cases are 1,5,89,230. The gap between active cases and recovered cases is continuously increasing and stands at 1,4,53,304. As on 12 February till 8 AM, more than 75 lakh beneficiaries have received the vaccination under the countrywide COVID-19 vaccination exercise. The total cumulative vaccination coverage of 75 lakh 5,010 includes 58 lakh 14,976 healthcare workers and 16 lakh 90,034 frontline workers. 1,54,370 sessions have been conducted so far. India is the fastest country to cross the 70 lakh vaccination mark. 10 states and union territories have vaccinated 69% of the total beneficiaries. Uttar Pradesh alone accounts for 10.2% of the total beneficiaries. 86.89% of the new newly recovered cases are recorded in 6 states. Maharashtra has contributed the highest number to the newly recovered cases, 6,107, followed by Kerala, 5,692 and Chhattisgarh, 848. 79.87% of the new cases are from 6 states. Kerala has reported the highest daily new cases at 5,281. It is followed by Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu with 652 and 481 new cases. 87 case fatalities have been reported in the past 24 hours. 6 states account for 75.86% of these. Maharashtra has reported the maximum casualties with 25 new fatalities. It is followed by Kerala with 16 new daily deaths. COVID-19 cases worldwide has crossed 10 crore 83 lakh, while the total recoveries stand above 8 crore and 4 lakh. US continues to remain the worst affected from COVID-19. Over 2 crore 80 lakh cases have been registered. Virus has claimed over 4 lakh 86,000 lives. US President Joe Biden on Thursday announced the purchase of 200 million doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. The US President has also expedited the shipment of another 100 million in the coming months. France Health Minister Olivier Véran said on Thursday that the British variant of the COVID-19 virus now accounts for a quarter of all new infections in the country. He added that the South African and Brazilian variants are responsible for 4% to 5% of all new cases. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said on Thursday that the country has secured millions of doses of Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer vaccines to fight COVID-19. In US, workers are setting up new vaccination centers in the heart of 2 urban California communities especially hard hit by the virus. Democrats conclude arguments on Donald Trump impeachment, reiterate that Trump incited the 6th January Capitol riot. Democrats warn that Trump can do this again if he is not convicted. Impeachment prosecutors used Reuters' own words to link Trump to the violence while arguing the riot had caused long-term harm. US President Joe Biden has signed an executive order imposing sanctions on the leaders of the military, including Army Chief General Lang, who directed the coup in Myanmar. In Ecuador, supporters of environmental presidential candidate Jaco Perez and Perez himself took to the streets of the Quito to call for a recount of votes in 7 provinces. In the US, Pamela D. Metcalf, a resident of Minneapolis, showed just how chilly the weather was in Minnesota when pairs of pants froze in her front garden. Wind chill factors are expected to lower at -6 degrees Celsius with an eventual rise of the temperature next week. Newborn twin porcupines were settling into their enclosure at a Belgian zoo on Thursday. The babies are the first born at the zoo in 25 years after a successful pairing between the parents. The zoo's Zurich's king penguins feel right at home with snowy landscapes and Arctic temperatures. However, they do miss visitors. This winter, COVID-19 measures forced the zoo to close for a second time last December. Swathes of Britain have been bathed in snow for days after the cold spell swept in from Scandinavia and Russia, making Britain look splendid. Britain recorded the lowest temperature in 26 years yesterday after a bitingly cold blast of Siberian weather swirled in from Russia. Every year, Cologne's carnival kicks off with some 1,000 revelers gathered at the main square of the city's old town to open the street carnival, although not amid pandemic. In carnival strongholds like Cologne, some fans still dressed up for the occasion in order to keep the spirit up. Born without arms, Piono's dream of being a dancer seemed painfully unrealistic, especially in a small town in rural Brazil. Piono's talent has made her a social media star and an inspiration to many. Conservationists in Chile are carrying a census count of the South American country's population of the endangered Humboldt penguins to shed new light on the behavioral patterns of the species. Sydney ushered in the Lunar New Year today with pink ox lanterns which were unveiled at the entrance to the city's Chinatown. The pink lanterns have been placed in the harbour city during the Lunar New Year festival from today to 21st. While Taiwan also ushered in New Year of the Ox with fireworks, hundreds of Taiwanese braved heavy rain to ring in the Lunar New Year on early today, burning incense to pray for good fortune of the year of the Ox. Meanwhile, in Thailand, hundreds of Thais attended a ceremony at Hindu Trimurti Shrine in Bangkok to make offerings as they prayed to find a special someone just days ahead of the Valentine's Day. Yoshiro Mori, the head of the Tokyo Olympics organizing committee, has resigned after he was criticized for making inappropriate remarks about women. The remarks set off a firestorm of protest. Major sponsors also came forward to criticize. In Australian Open, Serena Williams advances to fourth round in women's singles, while top seed Novak Djokovic to take on Taylor Fritz of the United States in men's singles third round later today. Bayern Munich beat Mexico's Tigres UANL 1-0 on Thursday to win the Club World Cup title and earn their sixth trophy in less than 9 months. Tammy Abraham saved Chelsea's blushes with a second-half winner at Barnsley as his side scraped through to the last 8 of the FA Cup with a 1-0 win. Second test match between India and England to begin tomorrow. Visitors lead 4-match test series 1-0 after winning the first test match. In a jolt to England, their ace pacer Jofra Archer ruled out of the second test match. Team India will lock horns with England for the second test of 4-match test series at the same venue, which is M.H. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. Serena Williams overcame a sluggish start to beat Anastasia Potapova and reached the Australian Open fourth round. 10th seed Williams, bidding for a record-equalling 24th Grand Slam title, came through 7-6, 6-2 against the 101st ranked Russian. Naomi Osaka also advanced after a KG match against Ons Jabeur of Tunisia. Third seed Osaka and her opponent struggled for rhythm, but it was the Japanese who prevailed 6-3, 6-2. Aryna Sabalenka, meanwhile, matched her best Grand Slam showing by advancing to a fourth round showdown against Serena Williams at the Australian Open. The number 7 seeded Sabalenka beat American Ann Lee 6-3, 6-1 at the Rod Laver Arena. Also, Garbiñe Muguruza, who finished runners-up at the 2020 Australian Open, booked her last 16th spot with a convincing 6-1, 6-1 victory over Kazakhstan's Zarina Diaz. Garbiñe Muguruza saved all 5 break points she faced in the match. In another match, Czech Republic's Markéta Vondrousova entered the fourth round by defeating Korona Korsela 6-2, 6-4 in the third round match. Also, Simona Halep has stormed into the fourth round after defeating Veronika Kudermetova 6-1, 6-3 to secure her berth in the fourth round. With a win, Simona Halep has entered the Australian Open fourth round for the 6th time. 18th seed Grigor Dimitrov has advanced to the fourth round after a 6-0, 1-0 win in a walkover against an ailing Carreño Busta. Meanwhile, Alexander Zverev has also advanced to the fourth round after a 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 win in round 3 against France's Adrien Manarino. Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike said she would not attend a meeting of high-level Olympic officials in protest. England have made a solitary addition to their T20I squad for the upcoming 5-match series against India beginning March 12th. Canadian Denis Shapovalov lost in the third round of the Australian Open. Felix Auger beat Shapovalov with a 7-5, 7-5, 6-3 to ease into the fourth round. Danny Ings helped Southampton into the FA Cup quarter-finals after a 2-0 win at Wolves. The striker ended a 5-game goal drought as the Saints look to lift the trophy for the first time in 45 years. Rafael Nadal dispelled any remaining doubts over his fitness with a commanding 6-1, 6-4, 6-2 win against American qualifier Michael Moore to march into the Australian Open third round and stay on track for a record 21st Grand Slam title. Dominic Thiem survived a command performance from Nick Kyrgios, coming back from 2 sets down to win in an Australian Open epic. Australian Kyrgios whipped the late-night crowd into a frenzy as he raced ahead, but Thiem held himself together to stage a remarkable comeback, winning 4-6, 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4. Marvel's female superhero event Pick Black Widow is still expected to make it to the big screen rather than going directly to streaming. Black Widow is set to hit theatres on May 7th this year. The Britney Spears legal case is back in court with little progress on the increasingly controversial issue of how long Spears will have her personal and business affairs controlled by other people. Free Britney campaign fans rallied and called for conservatorship to end. Lucasfilm, the Walt Disney co-owned movie studio, has ditched Gina Carano, a lead actor in one of its TV series, over social media posts drawing parallels between persecution of Jews in Nazi Germany and modern attitudes towards people with different political outlooks. Meanwhile, Janet Jackson, 5-time Grammy winner, is selling more than 1,000 of the costumes she wore on stage, putting her wedding dress and dozens of stage costumes up for auction in May for the first time. Jackson has kept the costumes in storage for years. Grammy Award-winning singer Taylor Swift announced release of newest version of her hit song Love Story. Taylor's version, one of 26 tracks on her newly re-recorded album Fearless. The song is releasing tonight. Berlinale's directors Marriott Rissenbeek, Carlo Chatrian yesterday unveiled the lineup for the 2021 Berlin International Film Festival that includes Radu Jude's Bad Luck Banging and Celine Sciamma's Petite Maman. The Berlin International Film Festival 2021 will take place online in March and in person in June. The lined-up titles will compete in the Berlinale as well as the high-profile feature screening out of competition in Berlin's Berlinale Specials section. Meanwhile, DJ Ralph heats up the carnivalist in the Rhineland event in Corona times. While big crowds and street parades are forbidden this carnival season, he drives his van from house to house through the streets of Bonn to entertain people. Jazz musician Chick Corea has passed away at the age of 79. Corea began his solo career in 1966 and played electric keyboard with the bands Return to Forever, the Electric Band and Vigil. He's won 23 Grammys and 3 Latin Grammy Awards. And back home, today is the birth anniversary of Bollywood's one of the most feared villains and also one of the most adored actor, late Pran. He gave several iconic characters to his career of 6 decades. Some of his memorable roles were in Ram Aur Sham, Purab Aur Paschim, Karz Upkar and Zanjeer. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.